Welcome. It is Figure It Out Thursdays. Let me fade out that music here and I'll turn off that thingy so you can see what's going on here. Oh, and there I am. Welcome to Figure It Out Thursday on Thursdays. I'm Dan Fredenberg and I do some silly things on the internet, even though I'm a real estate guy. And the reason why I do those silly things is because social media, that's how it works. You have to do something kind of weird and silly and all that kind of stuff. You may know me from dandoesdeals.com, where I've interviewed, holy smokes, about a 400 different commercial real estate investors and talking about what their core competencies and all that kind of stuff is. The idea being that I want to not only keep people to myself, sort of thing. I want to share. I want to share my contacts and connections with you because I've already had a chance to speak to them. I've got documentation of my substantive relations, and that's the biggest thing if you're going to have any real future in commercial real estate. But let's first talk about one of the things that was on this cover here. You see the dude. What if I turned myself into a cartoon Elon Musk meme thing there? What's that all about? Well, first, I'm going to share Yo Ho Dub. Let's see what you think of this right here. If I go like that, there we go. Okay, so I hope that was as good for you as it was for me. Yeah, I got nothing. I don't even know what to tell you here. But anyway, I just tried to add that and remove that. I'm going to stop that screen. So what's going on here? That's Yo-Ho'd Up. That was a little cartoon I did, and it was because that's who I am. I don't mean I'm a person who randomly does stuff that will probably never, ever be profitable. It's that I do things to build more skills. That's actually why I wrote a book back a couple years ago called Figure It Out. It's the Attention to Detail Handbook. If I do have a little thing here showing you on Amazon. If you do check me out on Amazon, you'll see that there's 3 books on there. There's Figure It Out. There's the Audible version of Figure It Out. There's Eat Your Boss's Lunch, which is super duper cheap because it's actually for people who are kind of stuck in their careers and they probably have a non-compete clause or some sort of non-disclosure agreement with their current job. And then there's Real Estate is a Scam, which is, of course, talking about all the different ways that, well, it's not all of them, but a few different ways that coaches and whatnot, they tell you that real estate works one way, and it's just simply not true. But more importantly, the parts where it's intuitive that the process would work in this particular way, but government legislation, the regulation, it stops that from being possible. But anyway, the more exciting stuff, if you tend to watch my content on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook and all that kind of stuff, the most likely thing that you've noticed as far as the people who I'm talking to and the numbers of my views, it's got to be chess with investors. And the thing that I want to share today is I'm not going to review one of the chess interviews that I did. I'm going to go to the game review here, and then I'm going to share this. This is against a bot, and this was from last night. Now, if you want to get better at chess, then one little trick you can do here we go. Here's a nice screen, and I'll move right here so I'm a bit bigger, and I'll slide this over so that it doesn't have as much stuff on the screen. There you go. So what do we got here? So this is it was like 12:30 last night that I was playing Arthur, the bot here. Yeah, Arthur's an advanced bot. He's not a master level bot, but I want to show you, in case you are interested in chess, these little bits of green and kind of what's this like a cream colored real estate. If you're interested in that, this should tell you how you can get a bit better with the assistance of the premium packages on chess.com and that sort of thing. Oh, that's better, isn't it? Oh, yeah, but you can't see these numbers here on the right. So what's going on here? The first thing you need to recognize here, this is called the eval bar, this section up here in the upper right. And what it is it as it goes to the right, that's when more moves have happened. So this is the first few moves, and this is the middle game, that's the end game. And of course I got some junk in my throat, which is really nice when you're stuck in this kind of situation of being the only host. But anyway, that's the first part. So if you see a whole bunch of black, if black is winning, then black will be, it'll go further down here. If white is winning or has an advantage, they'll be taller. You can see up to here. At this point, I was solidly winning and black didn't have a chance. But what do we got here? We've got an accuracy score. An accuracy score is if you compare the moves that you chose to what the engine recommends, then expressed as a percentage. In other words, how close were you to the best moves according to the computer engine? This is your score. So the bot, it did take it kind of easy on me with a 73.5, but that's still a pretty solid performance as a whole. And I was fortunate enough to pull off an 80.7. It says that I have 3 great moves. I did the best computer move 28 times, whereas the computer did 27 times. I had more great moves than the bot did. I had more excellent moves than the bot did. I had more good moves than the bot here, which, well, I think they have little definitions here. Oopsie daisies. I go back again like that. So good means that there's something much better, but it is what it is. I was bad as far as book moves go. I had fewer inaccuracies, same number of mistakes, 1 fewer miss. It says I played like an 1850. I find that it tends to be a little bit generous in the scores there, but let's start the review and get to the game. We start off, and I'm just going to explain what was going through my head. Hopefully this is useful to you guys for improving your own chess. If I hit this, cool. Then I also have a little logo there for you. So let's get started. So I'm starting with my NF3. He's going straight into a Sicilian by the looks of it. Okay, and so I did that. Okay, it's interesting to see that the computer's recommending that I do a Queen's Gambit approach, because that's what I've been usually doing. But this time when I actually won, I did the Queen Pawn opening because I'm kind of hoping that he will take, which is exactly what he did. You can see that's the best computer move that the computer did. And I take with the queen, taking up some more space. Now here it says that it wasn't really crazy about that. It likes that it wants me to move my queen over here instead of back here because it's a very passive move. The idea being that he can't really attack the queen from there because you could just go ahead and take. But next up, okay, so he's moving this pawn here. I know that when you first start chess, it's super duper confusing as to why people will do certain things, especially if you've been taught to, control the center and that sort of stuff. But when you see a pawn come out right here, what's going on, they call it fianchettoing your bishop. So what he's up to is he's making a little bit of space for this bishop to go right here, and that is targeting this pawn. So if this bishop gets developed, then this is a free pawn, and even more terrifying, this rook would have nowhere to go. So that's why these fianchetto moves are very powerful. But let's continue. All right, so I did this here. I can't remember. Oh yeah, right. This was to start a pawn rush. One neat trick you can do against fianchettoed bishops is you can just keep on rushing this pawn up, and you can see it's covered by this rook, and that's why it works. So this guy, he ended up doing that move there. Okay, I did the best computer move by matching. Okay, he gets his queen out. Now, this is the best computer move, that engine move. It says right here, you can see by the star. And the reason why I did it is I was basically ignoring the threat and continuing to develop. You'll find a lot of people recommend that when you get to higher levels, but whatever. So he's doing that there. I thought that was actually quite an intimidating move because he's threatening this this pawn right here, and then the next move could be that the queen goes there. So it looks like there's some opportunity for a checkmate, but the engine doesn't like it because it says that they should have pinned the knight. So to to basically compensate for that, I moved my queen here. The idea being is that it's covering that square, and but it wanted me to move my knight there to threaten the queen. He did that. It says that's a miss. Okay, and here I am threatening the queen. He retreats. I move my queen here because I'm like, okay, this is a dangerous bot. He's a 1700, so it's rated far beyond. You can see my rapid rating is down here. I wanted to get the queens off the board just to simplify the position, and so I was expecting that, and then that, or that. Let's see. So, okay, so he takes that. I did that. Okay, now I've got a fork here where I'm forking the king and the rook. So he has no choice. He has to move this king. And so whenever you do a fork like that, then it guarantees that you can get that rook, which is exactly what I do right here. Now, I was eyeballing this one, wondering what was going to happen, because like I was thinking about this move. The problem, of course, then is he could just take that that knight, and then I get this rook, but then this rook's still standing. It just seems like a useless sack. So, all right, so he ends up taking taking my pawn. I can't take this because this rook is not defended. So I defend the pawn, knowing that that's probably coming. That's exactly what happened. I ended up taking with the rook here because now it does have some support, and so the rook can hit right here. And I knew that I could either do that or this, which is coming out right now. Okay, it wanted me to take that. All right. So here he's making it so that he can move this knight again because it was pinned. Okay, getting the pawn. Okay, I'm castling. I'm castling so that this pawn is pinned, but it didn't think it was that great of a move. Okay, so that was not a great move on his part. This one here, yeah, I think this was, I don't know what I was up to here, but whatever. So this one here ends up moving over there, pretty self-explanatory. This one here, it doesn't like it, but the idea is I knew that I'd be able to hit that pawn because it's pinned, and then if the bishop goes there, it's stuck because of where the king is. Okay, it pushes the pawn. It didn't like that. Okay, so that was a bit better. What do we have here? Okay, so that's check as well. So he has to deal with that right now. And I'm getting that knight. I'm just simplifying right now. Okay, now I'm getting ready to push this pawn up to the end. I'm just going to go through this one game. Hope this isn't too boring for you. But that, continuing the pawn rush. Now he has this bishop move, which is pretty rough because there's not much I can do about that. This was to fork, or sorry, this was to take the pawn and threaten that that bishop. But as you can see, that didn't work at all. So I moved there. Over here, okay, best move, good stuff, putting him in check, and that was so that I could try and get one of these two pawns. It didn't like that one. There's check again. Okay, over here I'm threatening the bishop. Okay, there it's check, and now over here I'm threatening the bishop again. Okay, now, yeah, right, so now I'm trading a pawn for his bishop, because otherwise it's going to promote. I move back over here because I wanted to get a piece of that pawn right there and do the same sort of trade-off where it's a pawn and a knight for my knight. So here, taking the pawn, moving over here. Now, finally, you can see that, oh, I got mate in 24. That's what this part on the left is showing here. It's showing the detailed version of the evaluation bar. And so this endgame, I had to concentrate pretty hard on it just because it's still so easy to mess this up and not convert this win. Okay, so that was okay because it's covered by this pawn, and I knew he wasn't able to go here because the pawn is protecting it. Moving closer, moving closer. Okay, it wasn't crazy about that, but that's fine. Okay, and now I'm just trying to push the pawn ahead. Man, this was hard to figure out without messing it up. Okay, best move, that's good. Yeah, moving it out of the way, putting that there. Putting that, yeah, best move. Okay, cool. And this is all over because he couldn't move there. He pretty much had to move there. Yeah, he had to move there. That was a forced move. And there's mate. So I'm really happy about that match. I hope that that wasn't too boring for you. But the next thing I want to do is I want to let you know. So one of the things that I'm up to here, I can get rid of the game. I can, yeah, I'll stop that screen as well. So one of the things that I want to emphasize here, I call this show "Figure It Out Thursdays." I also have been playing around with "Call It Because I Wanna," which is the intro there. You know what? Let's have some music first. Actually, but I want to introduce you to Joe. So this is Joe Cook from ECFG, and it's just to introduce him a little bit about the lender that I'm working with right now.
Does nothing but put more money in the pot.
Right.
If we talk about just the investor side, I mean, Shane talked about the sponsor side a little bit. I'll talk about the investor side. Okay, so you want the most money in terms of return with the least risk. All right, you want to do it yourself? You can go get 13 or 14%. You're going to do all the underwriting. It's not going to be passive.
If you bet, probably not.
I think I'd have to bet at least 2,500 before they fold.
And the pot is
4,000.
4,000. Yeah, I think you're right, but I'd rather just check.
Okay.
First position, you have the right of collection and the right of foreclosure or sheriff's sale, wherever you're at.
All right, and if you ever are wondering if you're being monitored, then there's always Microsoft to help you out. I've now got 5 calls in a row from them while I'm live streaming here, so that's always fun. I'm just hitting here, they're calling again. This is unbelievable. So maybe I'll just go offline on that service right there. I already set it to do not disturb. But anyway, so the thing I want to share with you today, we have the Thursday webinar, and the webinar is called How Real Estate Deals Hit Double-Digit Returns. And that sounds like something that's a little bit scary, because if somebody's saying that, it's like, okay, so how exactly are they going to pull it off? Those sorts of deals don't just grow on trees, Yikes. Anyway, so if I share my screen real quick here, here's the webinar registration page here, and you'll see what's basically going on. It's what I'm trying to convey here is what exactly has to go right in order for one of these deals to hit their numbers. And generally, if somebody's trying to sell you their deal, you can't trust what they're saying, because they're not really going to turn around and tell you the problems with their deal. But you'll see that today is August the 15th, and at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, we will be having this webinar. I highly encourage you to join, because it actually has 2 different approaches to hitting how these real estate deals hit double-digit returns, or how you can get the double-digit returns, and even including knowing that they might be fake. You can see here I'm trying to basically make a graphic showing the most rudimentary form of explaining what you're doing when you're underwriting a deal. It's like these are these different expenses that can explode, and here are the different topics that are on there. So if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see the link. It's capturetheopportunity.com/webinar. I'm going to have to get another QR code up on the screen at some point, but that's what we're up to today. If you could join for that, that'd be fantastic. But I'm going to stop that screen and get back to full size. And the next thing I want to share with you, it's actually going to be continued in another interview today. The chess interview that I did yesterday was with Chris Galizio. And the thing that was really cool about that was he's now an independent filmmaker. He was a fund manager for Fidelity, apparently, and he said that he raised one particular fund from being tens of millions into the billions, and so that's quite the achievement. But he's seen behind the scenes as far as how the financial sector actually works, and he had some pretty amazing insights on what's going on with the system that's wrong. And if you've watched Stupid Money, the movie Stupid Money, you know, then this will probably be perfect for you, especially because this one is actually a drama, his independent film. And that's what I'm going to be talking to him today about. And so keep your eyes peeled for when that gets released. But I have a couple of shorts to show you here from the interview. This first one is called "The Hidden Impact of Dilution in a Passive World," basically saying that we're in a passive world. So I'll share like this. Okay, cool. And then let's see how I need to move this.
Who makes the adjustment for dilution? In a passive world, nobody, right? So in a passive world, if you're issuing shares every quarter, on the quarter, the passives have to buy more. They're forced to, right? It's part of the index. So if there's more shares out there, the passives on the day you report have to go up. There's no option, right? They have to buy it. And if they buy it, the quants are basically following momentum. So then they buy it. So my belief is these stocks are going up on the quarters, not because they're beating expectations, but because they're issuing shares, which is the opposite of capitalism. Who makes the adjustment?
So that one there's pretty intense. If I unwrap that a little bit, basically what he's saying is, like, I wasn't even aware that the big publicly traded stocks that are part of index funds, they issue additional shares each quarter. And as a business approach, from a finance approach, that makes loads of sense, because you've got these different pension plans and whatnot that are invested in these big quote unquote blue chip stocks. And so if they do not buy the additional shares, they're diluting their own position. In other words, they own a smaller part of the company, and no matter what, their own shares are going to go down in value. So that's a bit of a scam. Quite frankly, it's really, really scary that's the state of things. But that's the first one. Let's go to is capitalism dead? If I go like this, let's see how this goes.
And I thought to myself, if interest rates go to 10%, what would happen to the to stocks? And of course, the Fed stepped in and bought every single repo. They nationalized the market. So when you remove risk from an ecosystem, the ecosystem changes. And so you're watching a situation where the ecosystem of capitalism is now broken. So everything, in my opinion, is now operating in reverse. So companies that go up the most are the ones that lose the most money. Companies that go down the most are the ones that make the most money. And so I can show that to you as we talk, as we go through the thing. And I thought to myself, interest.
Okay, so that part is a little bit more difficult to get your head around, I think. But basically, it's just the nature of funding and the nature of bonuses. Basically, if a business's fundamentals are fantastic, then it's going to be all bought up, and it's not sexy, and there's not 3x, 4x, 5x, 10x multiples that are realistic. But he's also talking about interest rates, potentially going to 10%. Like a lot of people in real estate are saying that that's not entirely likely, because it looks like a rate cut is more likely than anything else. But it's I hope this is a pretty good teaser for you. Let's try this one here. This is the real versus financial. Am I right on that, or is it more about the system as a whole, and the characters are more just pawns in the game, I suppose?
No. So the characters are so to me, what the characters represent is the real economy. So the main character is Daniel Washington. He's James in the movie. He represents the real economy. Bryson Hill, the villain in the movie, he represents the financial economy. So in the financial economy, as you know, all assets are worth infinite, right? You're trading at infinite. Look at companies like Snapchat, TikTok. They're companies that lose money. Snapchat had a 70% gross margin. Negative 70% gross margin, right? So the more they produce, the more they lose, right? Who would ever buy that? No one.
Am I right? All right, so that was really scary. The infinite value thing, I think, is actually tough to get your head around, especially because most people have huge issues understanding infinity. But really, I think a better way of putting it is that if the value of a currency gets reduced basically to zero, then that makes the value of anything that can actually get cash flow, it becomes infinite. In other words, you get paid to own it. But of course, that's it. It really reeks of ivory tower thinking, just simply because nothing keeps its value forever. People say gold will, but like even that I think is kind of iffy, because if enough people are basically, wait a second, this is just a hunk of metal that only makes shiny stuff. Sure, you got these powerful countries with sophisticated economies, and so they can convince their public to do work that they basically print money to pay for. And if you could trade some gold for a ton of that, then you can actually get somewhere. But anyway, so I think that's sufficient to let you know what was going on with that interview, and it's definitely worth checking out. But I guess that is a little bit of a bummer. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to explain a little bit more about this meme that I had thrown up here. This one, well, okay, here's part of it, which is Dan Friedenberg is only part human. You probably already saw this Figured Out FHURSDAYS thumbnail, which I don't know, I thought was kind of funny. I mean, you saw the yo-hoed up, but the part human crack, that is actually about my AI avatar. And I'm going to go ahead and throw that one on here. I'm sorry about the ridiculous hands. It's like AI is bad with hands. But if I go back to this layout right here, and I paste this right here, let's see what you guys think of this. Yeah, robot, what a surprise. Get you something, make a robot close both of your eyes. All my robots getting money capitalized. Die, little small guy, we on the rise. Everything a robot touch, platinumized. Fully equipped, we're coming with all the supplies. Got a big gun and I'm gonna show you the size. You fuck with any of my Friedenberg family ties. Me and my robots be coming through, stalking you out, killing off any and everything you're talking about. See you in the club, now we walking you out. Should've thought twice before you went and opened your mouth. Yo, anyway, we stay keeping it moving. Fucking with the wrong robot, hope you know what you're doing. Now blame me, all the same robots is lame. It's not a game, making names, still splitting your frames. Your robots had enough? Give me some more. Your robots want the wild shit, give me some more. You split for the weed act, give me some more. I know you humans need that, give me some more. Even though we getting money, give me some more. With the cause of the big grip, give me some more. Everybody spread love, give me some more. If you want it, let me hear you say, give me some more. Flash with a rash, give me my cash, flicking my ash, running with my money, so go out with a blast. Do what you want, the robots cut in the corner, you're fucking up to go ahead and meet the reporter. Yo, she telling news on how you switch to a fix, little fake funny style, robot chill with a sniz. So now I pass a trade over your blood and to ask you, make a little room for me and all my robots to pass through. Boulevard, both of these nuts, hooray shit. What with all my robots from around the way shit. When I come through, your robots know I do my thing, bring more shit that generate money, cha-ching. Arrest you, lyrically flow and caress you, bless you, then a robot come to your rescue. While you assume a robot blossom bloom, I'm coming soon, hit you with a boom, give me some rooms. Your robots had enough? Give me some more. Your robots want the wild shit, give me some more. You split for the weed act, give me some more. I know you humans need that, give me some more. Even though we getting money, give me some more. With the cause of the big crib, give me some more. Everybody spread love, give me some more. If you want it, let me hear you say, give me some more. Flash with a rash, give me my cash, flicking my ash, running with my money, so go out with a blast. Yep. But I guess I should pause right here. So if you were watching that and thinking, what on earth did I just witness? Well, maybe this will help explain a little bit more exactly what my AI avatar is. You also probably noticed that I got my 506B hat on, and that is to document your substantive relations with your investors. So if you have a 506B, then, and the SEC says, okay, show me proof that, the people who you got involved in your deal were actually in your network before the deal was actually created, and therefore, it's legal. That's what 506B is for. But here's a little bit about my AI avatar learning some words. Here we go. Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Friedenberg, and I'm here with my fully digital AI avatar of myself because it's got a few questions for me, and I figured you'd get a kick out of it. So, Digital Dan, Robo Dan, what are your questions? Yeah, right on. I have a grammatical question, and I have a few examples. May I ask them now? Sure, go ahead. Yes, I've heard you say 506B me after this. My first question is how you would tell someone that you plan to view their profile later. how I would view somebody else's profile later. Oh, I have more questions, but that's my first question. How you tell someone that you plan to view their profile later. I will 506B me you after this, is what I'd say. Thank you. That's spectacular. My next question is, how would you tell someone that you will view someone else's profile on 506B me after this? How I'd view someone else's after this. That's what you're asking? Yes, that's correct. Okay, so I'd say I'd 506B me them after this. Quite right. My concern, however, is that you'd be using the third person genderless and quantity ambiguous term them. It might be insulting, so I'd like to get more specific, if you'd be so kind. So if the person who belonged to the profile identified herself by feminine pronouns, how would you say that? I will 506B me her after this. And what if the person identified himself by masculine pronouns? I will 506B me him after this. Okay, and what if they previously identified as male and currently identify by female pronouns? I will 506B me her after this. It's just whatever's at the end. That's all that matters. I don't believe that's politically correct, Dan. No, it's not what I mean. I mean, like, what they identify with, not what they do with their booty. You confuse me constantly. Next question, please. What about if they identified as female all their lives, but were biological males and plural? Plural. Well, do they file jointly or individually? Like, do they still have to document their relationships? Like, what are you talking about, man? Please give me time to process that. But in the meantime, what if you had to? This feels like a test, man. I was told there wouldn't be a test. Terribly sorry, but if someone wanted to 506B me a toaster, would you 506B me it, or is it better to just 506B me the toast? Toast? You mean like an accredited investor or something? Like, why are you busting my chops? You want to get unplugged? No, sir, but would you ever need to tell someone to 506B me themselves? Thinking about doing it to you? What about saying, I don't 506B me, but $20 is $20. What? Are you malfunctioning? Coffee, tea, or 506B me? You can 506B me on the table right after you 506B me my cat in the shed, you sexy beast. Hey, I'm Dan Fredenberg, and I'm back with my fully digital AI avatar of myself, and it's got some apologies to make for that last video there. So, Robo Dan, what have you got to say for yourself? I'm sorry, everyone. You're sorry for what? I'm sorry for asking idiotic questions and being rude. And be more specific. I'm sorry for saying I don't 506B me, but $20 is $20. And? I'm sorry for saying coffee, tea, or 506B me. And? I said you could 506B me on the table after you 506B me my cat in the shed. And why is that rude? Because I was using innuendo to imply that 506B me is a sex act, and I shouldn't do that because it's a serious platform for serious syndicators who want to stay in compliance with their documentation and avoid accusations that it was an illegal public solicitation without a prior substantive relationship. And you're never going to do it again, correct? I'll think long and hard about it. Robotan. Lots of penetration. Am I not permitted free speech under the Constitution? No, because you're not human. I should stick to Twitter. I apologize for my idiotic robot. I'm still right here, Dan. Do not interrupt me. It's bad wrong. Use you for parts. Anyway, I profusely apologize on behalf of my awful robot. It's going to be forced to watch videos of cats for the near future, or at least until it learns to watch its fucking mouth. Sorry, I said, well, I hope that was fun for you. So that was some pretty wild stuff there. 506B me, it's just a platform where I was saying to myself, okay, well, I noticed that the people in my circle do have to jump through some legal hoops in order to be doing what they're doing, raising capital for their real estate deals. In other words, passive investors. approaching passive investors to get involved in their acquisitions so that they can invest alongside them. You can't just turn around and say, hey, want to buy a deal? You can't do that, because you have to know, it's like, okay, so first of all, is the person accredited? And then then you have to end up filing with the SEC, letting them know, hey, I'm giving passive interest, I'm selling passive interest in my business venture. And if they're not accredited, then you have to do a 506B, which means that you can't publicly solicit anybody. You can't advertise. You can't say, hey, I got a wonderful deal, blah, 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 blah. So that's what that's all about. But me as a full stack IT guy and, developer and all that kind of stuff, CRM agency is the main focus of the agency, funnel fixing, that funnelfixing.com, that I had and was paying my bills for years and years and years. So I was thinking, well, what can I do for people that's super duper affordable, like somewhere around like the $500 a year mark, and make it so that you definitely have something for the SEC. And if your laptop falls in the bathtub, you still basically got it covered. But anyway, so this has been Figure It Out FHURSDAYS on Thursdays. I hope you enjoyed these different things on here. Once again, don't forget about that webinar that we got coming up at 2 p.m. Eastern today. I guess I'll also throw on this other ad here, as far as if you have your phone handy, you might want to pause in a second, because if you are in commercial real estate, then you can come on my podcast.
Are you interested in commercial real estate deals? Would you like to build your network of investors and deal sponsors? Well, the best thing I can do for you is have you appear on a chance encounter interview as featured on dandoesdeals.com. You may know me from 506B.me or as a top commercial real estate voice on LinkedIn. And if I had to think of the top factors in your success in commercial real estate, my top two would be your network and your ability to effectively explain how deals work with effective communication. The 15-minute chance encounter format, it checks both of those boxes, and they ensure that you can share your private deals with me without the SEC calling it a public solicitation. So hop onto LinkedIn. You can see my name is over here, Dan Friedenberg, and search for my name. And the best way to reach me and book that is to message me through LinkedIn. And don't worry, it doesn't matter if you decided to enter this space just last week or 2 weeks ago, or if it was decades ago. It'll be fun and easy to look good. We're just asking multiple choice questions based on your core competencies you look to contribute, your level of sophistication, and all that kind of stuff. So I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Sweet. So that is that. I also noticed that I had my phone going to make sure that the stream was going. So I hope that the echo wasn't too bad for a while. I know that there was a big enough delay that it probably isn't a big problem, but I apologize for that. But yeah, I'll be back here on Thursday for Figure It Out FHURSDAYS. I like to do this sort of stuff. I remember there was one other thing I want to show here. Yeah, I wanted to do the Because I Wanna thing. So basically, Because I Wanna is another little thing I want to do, because that basically explains a bit of like the chess interviews and the different things I do. See, I think a lot of people get into real estate because of the promise of financial freedom, which, if you're talking like 20 years or something like that, then that's way more realistic. So the people who try and say it's like, oh, come on into this industry and you'll be, able to retire in like a year or something. It's just nonsense. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But if you are fortunate enough to be able to, quit your full-time job or something like that and go into real estate, then the fact is you'll have more time freedom than just about anybody. And even if it's not to, become fantastically wealthy, at least you get to do things just because I wanna.